Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on my video. This is Rocky and this review will be for episode 6 of Constantine. In this episode we kind of get a darker tone, a darker feel as it does deal with child possession as well as child murders. It's a darker tone, but that goes along with the Hellblazer comics. It was when it was part of Vertigo as well as when DC took it over. It was a much darker world. In general, DC's magical universe does tend to be a bit darker than the rest of their mainstream comics. So the nice thing that I really enjoy about Constantine is with a lot of their special effects, they try and keep as many effects as practical as opposed to relying on CGI. What this does is in a sense, it makes things feel a little bit more realistic. It also keeps things simpler. Which in some ways makes it a little bit more believable so it definitely helps with a show with that. I don't like shows or movies that rely fully on CG for everything. I definitely do enjoy those practical effects, so that is something about the show that I just wanted to comment on. Another really great thing about this episode is the child actor that played Henry. I thought did an amazing job of showing a personality shift between before his possession, where he was very scared in his room, afraid of what was in his closet and things like that. And then, when he became possessed, he instantly shifted and became a lot more aggressive, stern, in appearance and things like that. Which, the mother picked up on this, the father didn't right away. So, but again, I thought that actor did a very great job portraying that. Basically, it just in general portraying a possessed person is, it's not something that, just anyone would be able to pull off. So just want to give kudos to the actor for that. And it was pretty interesting that they had, in general, the spirit, when they possessed the child, did a lot of mischievous things that did cause harm, but it didn't outwardly grow violent until there was actually conflict within the home. For example, like when the parents are arguing with Constantine, or just in general, there's a lot of arguments. That's when the spirit just reacts. Spirits in general tend to react off emotion, because emotion gives a lot of energy in a concentrated area. So essentially, it feeds off that energy and then bursts out in, some type of telekinetic attack. Be it the chair going or just the room breaking, things like that. So again. Very great special effects when it came to that. I did like the moments where Constantine used the Mayan magic, because again, it's showing that he's borrowing, like Papa Midnight says, he borrows from all these other religions and takes from them. But that just shows how smart he is, because he needs to be able to combat any type of spirit, so he needs to have all that information, all those magical disciplines in his arsenal, basically. In this episode, we do also get a lot of Chas and Constantine moments from straight from the beginning on. What I liked is when Chas picked up that sword, as Constantine said, that was the Sword of Night, which actually belonged to the character Nightmaster in comics. And the sword actually is from a completely different dimension, so this home base, as it were, for Constantine. It's just showing all these different magical artifacts it has lying around. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for, all those little Easter eggs that we're going to be able to see in the background. So I just wanted to comment that I thought that was pretty interesting and funny how Chas picked it up and, telling all this truth and stuff like that. It's not necessarily how I think it worked in the comics. And in the comics, I believe it was closer to how Wonder Woman's lasso worked, as far as someone holding it, you could ask them questions, things like that, and they'd have to answer truthfully instead of just rambling off whatever truthful thought they had in their minds at that time. But it was funny because you see that Chas has these issues, but he doesn't necessarily feel like he can talk about them with Constantine, because Constantine's really going to care. But John makes that little effort, so that was just pretty entertaining, I thought. We also see in this episode where John is still dealing with those fears and guilt and doubt he had in regards to child possession, is that is what happened with Astra. So he's very hesitant to do an exorcism on a child because of what happened there and not wanting to see a repeat of Newcastle. We see that him fighting it throughout the whole episode, trying to find every other way he possibly can. But when it came down to it in the end, he realized what he had to do was to save this child. So, he took action and did what, he needed to do. Enacting the exorcism is what he planned on doing. In this episode, we also get to see Manny again, which was really nice. And through the interactions with him, we learn a little bit more about John's childhood. But we also find out that while Manny can't directly interfere or help Constantine, he can advise. Now, is he being truthful about this? I don't know. Like I said earlier in earlier reviews, when it comes to angels as well as demons in this world, you can't trust 100% what they're saying because they're all working an angle, right? But, we get that Manny wants to help. He just can't overtly help Constantine. So he gives them the little nugget of information of thinking like a child. Honestly, I kind of laughed about that during the episode. And the reason I laughed is because in the comics, one of the first spells that John actually performed as a child was to actually hide away his childhood innocence inside of a box, basically. So it's kind of funny thinking, how is he going to think like a child if, he didn't have that childhood innocence? They haven't mentioned that on the show at all, so, they may not play off that at all. But again, what that just struck me as kind of funny when I was watching the episode. So another thing I want to mention is some people have mentioned that this episode seemed kind of out of whack. And the reason being is this episode was originally supposed to be the second episode of this series, which is why, John made that comment about feeling right at home in a mental asylum because, at that point he had just gotten out of Ravenscar, right? So that's why in some ways it felt a little bit off, but, compared to the rest of the series so far, and that's also why Zed wasn't in it. But, I personally enjoyed it because it showed, progression in the character. And, as well as it gave us a little bit more time for Constantine and Chas. And, this is a decision they had to make. It wasn't an easy one they had to make, but due to the casting change-up and everything that happened before the actual premiere, these are just some of the little things they had to do. But I still think it felt like a good, solid story. And, fits in with the rest of the atmosphere that they've kind of developed so far. The whole ending sequence of the episode I thought was filmed pretty well when John's going through the haunted house. And I particularly enjoyed that, again, we see John is not immune to these jump scares, right? When these dummies and everything are popping out and he's a little bit frightened. Of course, who wouldn't be chasing a, possessed child through a haunted house, right? Personally, I'd probably be jumping all over the place as well. But in particular, it was very, very funny when he punched that dummy. As, that struck me as a very, Constantine kind of thing. Like, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm still going to hit you, even though it's not a real person. So, like I said, that sequence done very well. I definitely love the, twist we got at the end where, Constantine actually finally put the pieces together to identify who this spirit was. And, by the end of the episode, we definitely do get that progression of John getting a little bit more of his confidence back as he, in this case, he saved the child that was possessed. So he got a little bit of that redemption, internally, based off what happened with Astra. So, like I said, it was a great episode. It was it wasn't as good as the other episodes, I thought. But again, that was due to that swapping around. So if this had been episode 2 and then we jumped into, Zed stuff after that, I think it would feel a little bit stronger of an episode. But again, solid episode, good effects. We get to see Manny again. Enjoyed seeing the Constantine and Chas moments. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed the episode. Hope you guys did too. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions on the episode or any of the characters. And just want to let you guys know that, we still definitely want to support Constantine as much as we can to try and lock in that second season. So, definitely watch, Friday nights when you can, or watch via Hulu, which is what I do typically over the weekend, or, watch online through NBC's website. And I know in the UK they haven't, have an official broadcast station, but it does appear that the UK version of Amazon Prime is showing the episode on a weekly basis. So if you're in the UK and you have an Amazon Prime account, you can definitely check out Constantine on a weekly basis there. But like I said, you should be able to access them through Hulu if you have that, or the NBC website, as well as the NBC mobile app, I believe, has the episodes as well. So like I was saying, we definitely want to support Constantine, so we still want to, tweet the NBC, at NBC Constantine Twitter account with the hashtag Save Constantine, as well as post that on their Facebook page, your Facebook page, on the YouTube comments, Google Plus, Google Plus, everywhere that you can possibly think of. Put that hashtag in there, Save Constantine, so we can try and lock in that second season, because this is, a very, very, very great original show. I mean, it deals with some of the supernatural things that we've seen in other shows, but it's in a new, refreshing way, just with the character of John Constantine. How he's not necessarily a hero, but he's growing towards that, basically. So, I definitely want to support the show. I definitely hope you guys do as well. But like I said, let me know in the comments what you think about the episode, and if you have any questions on it, as well as if you have any suggestions for any type of bonus Constantine video, definitely put that down below as well. I'll be happy to put one together for you guys. What I do want to say is that if you have enjoyed my video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and share the video through whatever social media is most convenient for you. Anyone you feel that might like the channel, definitely let them know about that. And please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, as I would greatly appreciate having you on board, and having some conversations with you guys down in the comments, or through Twitter or anywhere like that. Definitely reach out to me with anything you guys want to talk about. And if you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you very much, and I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. That being said, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Bye.